Right, you're going to have to bear with me because this is going to be one of two videos today, and I don't normally record like this, okay? So I'm just finished all of our live stream, which went great today. We've just released a video. It's now about midnight. I filmed my video for tomorrow morning, but I'm doing this one instead to come out first, and the second video will come out today at 1 p.m. I can't sleep without talking about this. The Mandelson files are out, and it's not good for the Prime Minister Keir Starmer. So you've seen it all over the news, right? Just bear with me. This was released after the PMQs yesterday in Parliament, and this damning information should realistically see the end of Keir Starmer in number 10 Downing Street. Now, a few weeks ago, the Prime Minister stood in front of the nation and apologised, saying that he had no idea of the close connection between the convicted predator Jeffrey Epstein and the man he appointed to his party, Peter Mandelson. Starmer stated he did not realise the depth of the connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Mandelson. I called it rubbish then, and now we've got the evidence to back it up. The files proved not only did Starmer know, the findings suggest and indicate even more wrongdoing that was first initially spoken about. Peter Mandelson stayed in an apartment owned by Jeffrey Epstein after he had already been arrested and put in jail, which was around 2009. This document on the gov.uk website, the documents confirm that the government was told this information before he was even hired. Starmer never said that. He denied that. The Prime Minister claims he will protect the women and the children of this country, but this document proves he does not care about women and children, because he still hired someone knowing his connections and what he was tied to. On top of this, David Lammy, the man who is helping to implement your new law removing juries in this country, which is absolutely insane, he also knew, he claimed he didn't, but he also knew and helped appoint Lord Mandelson as the ambassador to the United States. So this corruption runs deeper than my pockets. We've got two people sitting in office who knew the connections between Mandelson and a sex predator and the extent of their relationship, and he still chose to pursue this relationship and appoint him as part of the British government. They should both hand in their resignations, and they should both be investigated right now. The emails that were released by the Cabinet Office show David Lammy agreed with the recommendation to appoint Lord Mandelson in December of 2024. It's in the files in black and white. There is no sugarcoating this, and there is no way around. We have a corrupt government who have participated knowingly in the appointment of a close ally of Jeffrey Epstein. And tonight, last night, we saw that the Labour Party voted to scrap jury trials. So moving more towards Sharia law because they don't have juries. Great, ain't it? So this goes against everything British and towards the eradication of our culture and our nation. And then you have the cowardly MP, Labour MP, Carl Turner, right, who has now come out and said if he didn't vote to scrap the juries, that he would have been suspended from his position. So I expect that was the same for everyone behind Keir Starmer. He threatened them. So we've got corruption, threatening MPs, and this coincides with what I said in January of 2025, right, when 100% of the Labour backbench voted against a national grooming gang inquiry or investigation. Not one person from the Labour Party stood up for the girls of this country and voted against finding out who these perpetrators truly are. So clearly they were threatened by Keir Starmer. You will lose your job or your position if you stand against me. It's not about you, mate. This is about protecting the girls. And I must repeat, last week, Starmer said in Parliament that he himself promised they would not investigate people via their faith. That's going to be removed from it. So what is the point of the investigation, right? This sickness runs deep within our country and our justice system, and these people need to be held to account. This field of sewage, disdain and disorderly conduct cannot go unpunished. It can't. I've been too afraid to speak out on my channel due to the laws in this country and the implementation of using our police force to harass and bully the public for speaking out. You've seen them go knocking on doors just because of crap, let's be honest. This is no longer about me or my safety, but what is right for this country, and I believe this government is a security threat to our nation. I genuinely believe that. They even tried to cover up the severance payment to Mandelson, and it's even in the report saying they're not going to publish how much he was paid. We're going to. It even says it there. We will not make this public. Like, what does that tell you? You know, the whole thing stinks to me. Sorry, I've got to have a drink because when I talk too much, you know, dry mouth. So I do apologise if I'm rambling a bit, but it's on my mind. The department have said that they will not publish the details of this payment last year. There were over 57 payments, right, in the range of £50 and 100 grand. Insane amounts of money. And there's rumours of it being up to around £500,000. Where's this money coming from? Where's it coming from? Are we paying for this? Are we paying the person connected to a sex offender? And we're also paying a government to help cover up sex offences. Like, this country has fallen so far that I'm ashamed to say that I'm British. My final thought, right, is that if he's lied about connections to the most prolific sex offender that we've ever known publicly, what else has he been hiding? Like tonight, I've spent hours going through these documents and reports. Several details in it stood out like a sore thumb. Some of it I've seen people speaking about, some of it I haven't. Peter Mandelson stated during resignation statements that he regrets working with Jeffrey Epstein about 20 years ago, which would have been about 2004. Right? Such a claim points towards 2004, 2005, but the records show another story. 10 years after that, in 2014, Mandelson entered a business relationship involving Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, 2014. And this was when Epstein was in prison. So Mandelson, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein, right? Linked to an ocean conservation initiative. That partnership occurred along the lines of 2009, long after Epstein's 2009 jail sentence. So 5 years afterwards, right? Such timing for that raises questions, serious questions, I would say. Another thread involves China. Mandelson left the office in December of 2025, and then 1 month later, on the 28th of January 2026, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, travelled to China. That visit to me appeared sudden, and soon after that there was an announcement confirming plans for Chinese embassy in London beside the Tower of London. Just like that. So, you know what I mean? The reports link approval of this development to the Mandelson connections in China. One detail inside the documents that draws attention to page 21 of the documents, if any of you have got it, contains wording from Mandelson during his resignation arrangements. Mandelson wrote that a fast and quiet process would help a return to the United Kingdom with dignity. Mandelson also stated that press presence at arrivals, when he arrived back here, would create problems. What do you think he meant by that? Such wording suggests concern about public questions and possible statements during media attention, or maybe he could slip up and say something that the government don't want. So he was kind of warning, pay them, let me come back with dignity, don't let the media be there, I want it to be, you know. So the government, again, covered it up. The financial records raise another issue. Mandelson received, apparently, more than 500,000. Who knows? Between 50 and 500,000, who knows? Who knows? Documents state payment occurred privately and outside of official records, like I mentioned earlier. And all the material mentioned here sits inside the files listed in the description below, so you lot can go and look at it yourself. The same files address statements made inside Parliament that Prime Minister Keir Starmer told Parliament no knowledge existed of. deep connection. He said there's no deep connections between Epstein and Peter Mandelson, but the documents contradict such claims. The records show warnings delivered to the Prime Minister 5 separate occasions. Each warning flagged Mandelson links to Jeffrey Epstein, including connections after Epstein's 2009 imprisonment. One example stands out particularly because Mandelson stayed inside that apartment owned by Jeffrey Epstein while Epstein was serving time in prison. Government officials knew about this. You know what I mean? The government statements inside Parliament denied such knowledge. They said it didn't exist. Those facts raise a direct question. Should the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom resign? I believe so, but let me know what you think in the comments.